A very pleasant good Friday morning to everybody. Please do not adjust your set. I am not James Dunn. I'm just a much better looking version of him. And James and Stacy are taking a much deserved day off today, and they've asked me to co-host for them. I'm Hurley Buff, and I'm the director of the Cleveland Bradley Business Incubator here on the Cleveland State campus. And to my left here is my lovely and talented co-host, Hollis Pegues. Hollis is one of the incubator's tenants, and he's agreed to come and sit in with me today. So we're going to get right to it because we've got some guests lined up that I think you're really going to like. And we're going to give you a few moments now to go and refill your jug of coffee and come back to the TV, and then we're going to talk to Hollis Pegues about his business, which is called Platinum Recruiting. And I'm looking forward to that. I think you'll find some interesting information. I know it's early, but we're going to do our best to keep you awake, so grab that coffee and come back to the tube. We'll be right back after this.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
On the anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Cry Out America gathers Christian believers at county courthouses across the nation to cry out in prayer. Each of us has a reason.
I believe in the power of prayer.
I'm doing this for my kids.
I'm praying for my friends.
I can't do it alone.
Spiritually, man, this country is falling apart.
But I've seen God move before.
This September, we will unite once more with one purpose: to focus prayer on awakening every state, every county, and every heart for Jesus Christ.
We need to turn.
Return.
I need to turn.
Humbly.
To God.
What is your reason?
Go to awakeningamerica.us to find a prayer gathering in your community.
Then join us
At noon on September the 11th.
In front of your county courthouse.
Together, we will cry out to the Lord.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Are you having trouble filing for disability?
Seems no one is concerned about your pain, the waiting, the denials.
While some representatives will meet with you in court, we will meet with you now to discuss your plan. We'll review with you the same file that the judges will see. Call us now, Social Security Law Center at Logan Thompson.
You're entitled to better.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Good morning and welcome back. Here again, I'm Hurley Buff. I'm co-hosting, or guest hosting, I guess you'd say, today for James and Stacy Dunn, who are taking a well-deserved day off. And we have a lineup of guests that I hope will keep you awake this morning, even on a Friday. To my left here is Mr. Hollis Pegues. He is with Platinum Recruiting, and we're going to be talking a little bit about his business this morning. We also have Cheryl Barker with Serendipity CB, and a gentleman by the name of Barry Cochran, who he's got a very interesting product. I'm not even going to tell you about it yet. We're going to wait and save him for the end of the show. TGIF, Hollis, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Good to be here.
Sounds good, sounds good. I'm glad that you agreed to guest host with me this morning. I don't guess there's such a thing as a guest co-host, so.
I don't know.
There may be, but anyway, you're co-hosting today. So in any event, I want you to tell us all about your business that you opened very recently in the business incubator.
Yeah, sure. The name of my company is Platinum Recruiting. We are based, as you said, in the incubator. We are a recruiting firm where we help find jobs for people looking for work, for careers. We also find employees for companies in the area. And then we have a payrolling service where if a company calls us up and they're wanting to get their employees covered through workers' comp as well as W-2, and we'll pay taxes and things like that for the employees. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the services we offer.
Okay, so if a particular company was looking for a certain kind of employee, they come to you and describe the process of how that works.
Yeah.
If I were a company coming to you for help, how would you be able to assist me, and what would the process be?
Yeah, basically what would happen is you call us up over the phone, and we are available pretty much 24 hours a day. We have someone that's always available to answer the phone to take those orders for our customers or potential customers. Mm-hmm. And after the order is taken, we would look through our system, or we would go out and try to find that prospective employee for you through our various search engines, such as Career Builder and the newspaper ads and things like that. So you would call us up over the phone, we would find those people that you needed, and we typically do it very quickly.
I was going to say, how long is the process for something like that typically?
Depending on the position, it's about 24 hours. Within 24
really?
hours, we can have the person ready to go. Yep.
Can be done that quick. Now, what if that
fast.
person needs some kind of particular training? Is that something that's a prerequisite for them to have as they come into it, or is that something that the company would give them after they're hired?
Well, it depends all on what the client wants. So if the client's looking for a general labor worker, then typically that's someone who has maybe 1 to 3 months of experience in a warehouse or manufacturing setting. But if they're looking for a person that's higher skilled, such as an engineer or an accountant, obviously those particular people have to have some sort of skill set prior to us placing them. So maybe a degree or 1 to 3 years as an accountant or as an engineer. It all depends on what the client wants.
Mm-hmm. But now that's kind of part of the service that you offer, is locating those people ahead of time, correct?
Exactly.
Now you said that there were search engines and a system that you mentioned that you find these people with. Mm-hmm. Looking at this from the other side of the table, mm-hmm. how does someone who is in need of a job get on one of those search engines or into your system?
Yeah, basically they would go to www.platinumrecruitingusa.com, and from that page they can click ready to get started. Mm-hmm. And after that they'll see a list of all of our jobs that we have available. And from that point, they can apply or send their resume to us. And after that, we'll call them depending on what jobs we have available or what jobs they apply for.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, let's say that somebody is out of work and mm-hmm. they need a job. and they come to you and you don't have a specific job that really gives them a good fit on your posting, do you take their information anyway and keep them on file until one comes open?
Absolutely, because things are always changing and we're growing every day. And so we like to have their resume and information on file just in case a customer calls and they have that particular skill that the customer is looking for. So just because we don't have a job for them today doesn't mean that we won't have one for them tomorrow.
And really, you know, we've heard a lot on the evening news and whatnot about how scarce jobs are and how even though it's coming back, the numbers are still kind of tough. What are you seeing right here in Cleveland as far as opportunities for people who are looking for a job?
Yeah, right now it seems like things are growing, in particular in Cleveland and Chattanooga, because you have the Volkswagen plant, Bacher, and quite a few other places here in Cleveland that are bringing other suppliers along with them. So there's so many more jobs here in the area than there are in other locations. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are moving here from other locations because of the job market in Cleveland and Chattanooga and Ottawa and so on.
That's wonderful. I mean, we're very lucky to live in the community that we do, Cleveland and Bradley County. It doesn't seem like that the Great Recession really hit as hard right here at home as it did in other places of the country. So, but you're saying that you're definitely seeing an upswing in people needing help then.
Absolutely. Cleveland is a thriving place. Cleveland and Chattanooga area where people are able to come and still find jobs and find work with agencies such as mine, as well as some of the other places in the area. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, we've come to the Barbara Walters part of the interview here. Well, let's talk a little bit about you.
Sure.
What in the world led you to start a company like this?
Yeah. Well, all my life, basically, I've always wanted to be in business for myself. And I came to Lee in 2001 from Detroit, Michigan. And I was
Lee University.
Lee University, yes.
Okay.
And I was a business major, business administration. And I always dreamed of starting some sort of company, but I didn't know exactly what type of company I wanted to do. After college, I started working in the mortgage industry, and then I transitioned into the staffing recruiting industry. And from that point, I learned that my desire was to help people find work. And so that's what initially got me started into starting Platinum Recruiting, was my desire to help people find jobs, to better themselves, not just jobs, but careers.
Well, now you've been in the incubator a short time. How long have you been open now?
We have been technically open in the incubator since January 1st, 2013.
So it must feel a lot longer by the look on your face then.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We have about 6 employees now internally that are working.
Oh, that's wonderful.
For us.
That is wonderful. So when you first came into the business, and I know from our personal interaction that you are a man of faith.
Yeah.
So you kind of approach your business as sort of a ministry for yourself, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes back to the point of helping people find careers, because, you know, as the Bible says, if a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. And so we feel like working is important. And we strive to treat the employees just the same way we treat our clients, so that they don't feel like just a number, but they feel like that we have their best interest at heart. We really want to help them find the right fit, not just a job, but again, a career that caters to what they can do. You know?
You feel like that personal touch is what makes you successful?
Absolutely.
There you go. I would tend to agree with you, absolutely. Well, listen, we don't have but just a few more minutes to talk here, so why don't you tell everybody in our audience how that they can get in touch with you?
Sure. Well, you can go to platinumrecruitingusa.com and fill out an application online. Plus, you can call our office. The number is 423-478-6483. And then you can also go to Facebook. If you go to Facebook, the page is a little bit different. It's Hollis Has Jobs on Facebook, and you can like us on Facebook. Every single day, we update our Facebook page with jobs, so you can see what's available for Platinum Recruiting. In addition, if you go to hollishasjobs.com. If you go to that webpage, it'll take you right to Facebook, and you can like us online. So check it out.
Okay, so you're on Facebook as well then.
Yeah.
How about any of the other social media, Twitter or any of those things?
We are on Twitter, but I don't have that information right with me, H. You caught me off guard.
There you go. There's the Barbara Walters moment. I caught you with something you didn't know right off the top of your head.
It's early. I'm tired.
There you go. We're going to have to get you recaffeinated.
Oh, yeah.
But in the office, you want to tell a little bit about where you're located as well if you have a drop-in that wants to come by and see you. Do you welcome that? Or
Absolutely.
Okay.
Our address is 3505 Atkinson Drive. That's ADKISSON, and we're in Suite 205. That's Cleveland 37312.
And that's on the extreme north side of the extreme south side of the Cleveland State campus.
Yep.
We're adjacent to the technology building, and we can find a nice little room for you and any potentials to come and sit down and have a good long talk.
Yeah.
Now, is it easier, do you think, to sit and fill something like this out in person or to do it on the internet? Which way do you recommend that folks needing to contact you do that?
Yeah, we recommend that you go online first and check out the website to see if there are any jobs that you might have a skill to do. And then from that point, you can call us and say, hey, I'm interested in the quality control position. Right now, we're hiring quite a few people that have experience with quality control inspection rather. And so go online, check out the jobs or careers there, and then give us a call, and we can go from there.
And do you normally line up an appointment after they make that initial call?
Absolutely. We typically, if they have not applied online, we tell them to go online and then call us back or phone us back, and we will call them to set them up an interview time.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, folks, Hollis is going to stick around. He's still going to be sitting here with us, and we've got some more guests to come on here very shortly. Cheryl Barker with Serendipity CB. She makes a line of all-natural body and skincare products, and she's going to be talking to us about that. I imagine me and you will probably be demonstrated on before the morning's over with.
That'll be all right with me.
We can handle that. We're secure enough in our manhood. We can handle that.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll be right back with Cheryl Barker. Go and fill up your coffee cup and come right back to the TV.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
On the anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Cry Out America gathers Christian believers at county courthouses across the nation to cry out in prayer. Each of us has a reason.
I believe in the power of prayer.
I'm doing this for my kids.
I'm praying for my friends.
I can't do it alone.
Spiritually, man, this country is falling apart.
But I've seen God move before.
This September, we will unite once more with one purpose: to focus prayer on awakening every state, every county, and every heart for Jesus Christ.
We need to turn.
Return.
I need to turn.
Humbly.
To God.
What is your reason?
Go to awakeningamerica.us to find a prayer gathering in your community.
Then join us
At noon on September the 11th.
In front of your county courthouse.
Together, we will cry out to the Lord.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Are you having trouble filing for disability?
Seems no one is concerned about your pain, the waiting, the denials.
While some representatives will meet with you in court, we will meet with you now to discuss your plan. We'll review with you the same file that the judges will see. Call us now. Social Security Law Center at Logan Thompson.
You're entitled to better.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Good morning and welcome back. I hope you had time to get that extra cup of coffee. I'm very proud to introduce Cheryl Barker, who is with Serendipity CB is the name of her business. And before we were even back from commercial break, she was already demonstrating product on Hollis over there, and I think he must like it. And
smells great. I recommend it for sure.
Well, okay, Cheryl, I want you to tell us a little bit about your business. You brought us some product here to look at, and I want to make sure we have time to let you describe all of this. Tell us about Serendipity CB.
I am a licensed massage therapist and esthetician, and I make all natural body care products. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a twofold business that I see clients during the day for massage, skincare, waxing, items like that. But then when I'm there alone, I play in the back. I have a kitchen set up, and I make aromatherapy products, skincare products, body care, a multiple of uses.
It looks like, especially from looking at this case, and I know this is not all of your products, is it?
No, I have, I brought a sample of my latest products. Now we have some that are body scrubs, body butters, room sprays, items like that. But today I brought some of these summer products that we have so that we can play with those. Okay,
that sounds good. And I can testify to the fact that some of those scrubs are really good. She's actually got me hooked on one. But in any event, it's worth mentioning to our audience that you produce these in the Cleveland Bradley Innovation Center, which is a different building from the incubator, still part of the same thing, but Correct. It's on the far north side of the Cleveland State campus. And one of the things that qualifies you to be there, I guess you could say, is these products are completely and totally all natural, no chemicals. Well, you tell
Correct. All of the products, I have very sensitive skin, so I wanted a product that anybody can use without the fragrance, without chemicals, without petroleum-based products, no mineral oils, no fragrance, that anyone can use for their skin. Most of the products that have the aromatherapy in it are also safe for the elderly and for children that are above 6 months.
Wow, now that's saying a lot. Is that kind of what led you into this business? Was your own skin sensitivity? Was it hard to find products that you could use?
Yes, and also part of being in the building that I am, the services by itself did not qualify me to be in the building, so I needed to manufacture products. So I had made things at home, and now we're just going a bigger scale.
So is this something that you kind of invented really in your own kitchen at home?
Correct.
And used with the clients that you had as a massage therapist?
Correct. All of my massage clients have aromatherapy in their services. I don't charge extra for aromatherapy because it helps with moods. It helps the body tissue to relax. essential oils have healing properties based on what type of oil it is. So I try to incorporate that with all of my clients. And then having the skin background of knowing how things react to the skin and what's safe for the skin, from the esthetician side, it was easy for me to just develop some more products.
So definitely invention was born out of necessity in this case.
Yes.
Well, all right, let's talk a little bit about your product then, because I saw you rubbing a little something over on Hollis over there, and he didn't look like he was minding that a bit. So.
Okay, this one here, this one is Hetty's. This is what Hollis has on him. And this is aromatherapy that has a ball on the top, and you can apply on your pulse points. We'll put some more on him. Here, we'll give some on.
Oh, okay.
You can apply on your pulse points and up here on the temple. And this one is for cluster headaches, migraines, any type of sinus. It has peppermint and eucalyptus in it.
Yeah,
and
you can smell the peppermint.
Yeah. So you can rub that on there. Most of the products are safe. They are diluted in such a manner that they're safe to put on the skin, because you don't want to put essential oils directly on the skin. So we have 4 different flavors of this. This one here is for my lady friends. This is Nourish, and this helps for menopause and any of the PMS symptoms that us lovely ladies may
we won't
experience.
be trying that one.
But I'll take a couple bottles.
Okay, I'll send you home some.
Thank you.
So we have, ones that work for specific means. So we have 4 different flavors of those, if you want to call it a flavor, for different items.
But a different fragrance, a different smell comes with each one.
And everything, again, is all essential oils. There's no fragrance behind it.
Okay, and I suppose these would be safe in whatever quantity you decided to use. If you had a really bad head, like me, I'd be up in here just giving it this, with some of the headaches I get. But it's safe.
You can apply as needed. I know for the Nourish, it has a very clean, sweet smell, and you can use these just as a cologne or a perfume as well, that a lot of the synthetic perfumes that are on the market people can't use. So something like that you could still roll on and use it as a cologne or a perfume as well.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, then you could wear something like this as a fragrance in an office setting, in a workplace.
Correct.
And it's probably not going to offend your co-workers there at the same time, because I know even when people wear heavy cologne around me, I have a lot of sinus troubles, and that bothers me at work. So this would be safe to wear to the office.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Cool. Okay, and what else have you brought us to look at?
This summer, this was one of our most popular. This is Herbal Shield, and this is our all-natural bug repellent. Citronella is the main ingredient. I'll let you smell, Hollis.
Thank you.
I won't spray that one all over you. But this one has citronella in it and lemongrass. So that.
Oh, that's what I can smell the lemon.
Yeah. Very clean scent. Again, no DEET. It's safe for children. You can use it on your pet. My son lives out in Colorado and is in the mountains a lot, and he uses that on his pet, so it's safe on your dog as well, or cat. And
that's something that you wouldn't necessarily think about being on an outing or something, as your pet needing protection just as much as people would.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can use that on children, again, above 6 months. Shake very well. You have to reapply a little bit more often than things that have DEET, because the essential oils, if it's very hot and humid, they do evaporate in the air. But you can carry that with you. It's small enough that you can put in your bag or your backpack, either one.
I was going to say this would be very inconspicuous to carry with you, even if you were going to a museum or something and was going to be in and outside. All righty then.
Sure, what do you mean about DEET? What is the difference?
The DEET is a chemical that is in most of your commercial bug sprays.
Right.
And so a lot of folks don't want that chemical on their skin.
Gotcha.
And then as far as children go, a lot of people are trying to find a more natural remedy, so this would take place of that.
Gotcha.
Now, DEET, that's actually an acronym, right? That's DEET?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
And that's the chemical that's in a lot of your repellents that you buy over the counter.
yes, especially the ones that say deep woods. A
Right.
lot of those
Okay.
have that on there.
And so this is completely free of anything like that.
Correct.
And yet with the citronella, I'm sure it still works very well, doesn't
Yes.
it? Okay. Now, what else have you brought for us?
This summer we have 3 salves that Salvation
Salvation. I love
is
that
the
name.
Gardener's Salvation.
Uh-huh.
That is our gardener's hand cream that you can use after you work in the yard. The Salvation, and this one here is On the Mend. We'll just open these up so you can smell. On the Mend has some lavender in it, and On the Mend is the first aid ointment, and the one that you have is the gardener's salve. Both of those are made with almond oil that has been infused with comfrey and calendula. Both of those are medicinal plants. I have actually bought the herbs to infuse the oils for these, but I am growing those at home and drying.
Really?
So my next couple of batches we can.
So even more
it'll
natural.
Be, right.
This has a really, really light
Yes.
scent.
Now
I
that
mean,
one
you
has.
could wear this and probably nobody would
Right.
even know you had it on.
Same with this one as well.
Really?
And although they have essential oils in them that help with the skin, help with healing, the lavender is good for burns and bug bites, scrapes, anything like that, that it's not so strong that you men can wear it and not feel like you're stinking up the joint.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, and that's a big concern to guys like us. So,
and neither are very greasy or anything like that. It rubs into the skin very good.
So you could put this on and put clothes on over it, and you're not
Yes.
going to worry about having
Yes.
any kind of stains or it coming through your shirt or what have you.
And that one has cocoa butter in it, and the cocoa butter and a little bit of orange. So it has that chocolatey orange aroma for that one.
So this is going to have a softening effect as well as its healing properties.
Exactly.
Okay. Great.
And then for those that need just a little bit more, Luna, the overnight therapy. I don't know if they can see the texture of this. This is a creamier version of these. These are our harder salves. And then this one is made with lanolin, which lanolin is very healing. And so this one is, you put this one on at night and let it soak in. It's not one that you want to wear during the day. But
yeah, now I can kind of see that on your hand.
so you
there.
can
You
see
can almost
that
see
one.
a little shine there.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I dabbed a little bit on myself just a second ago, and I mean, it completely disappears almost immediately.
So the Luna is for intense therapy, very cracked, dry hands. For your feet, you can put this one on and leave it on overnight, and it helps with cracked heels, elbows, anything. The men that work out side in the elements, that's good for their hands and things like that at night.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, really quickly, because we only have just a few minutes left. Do you have anything else that you want to show us specifically today?
What about anything you want to give to us?
I was going to say,
I could probably hook you all up
we
with
always
some
like
samples.
samples. We're all about samples around here. Well, definitely though, before that we go, and it looks like that you've got a fantastic line of products here, and I know you keep coming out with new lines of stuff.
Right.
I mean,
for the fall, we're going to have an aromatherapy kit that people that are interested in more holistic aromatherapy treatments, so that'll be out soon. And we have a gardener's kit, which is made of a couple of these products for the gardeners, to keep them in mind. And then this fall, we will have also some chest rub and room spray for that cold and flu season. So those will be out here in a couple of months.
and that is some good stuff. Cheryl was good enough to bring me for my office back last fall some of the room spray that helps kind of keep the germs down in the room.
Yes, we didn't want to spread the germs.
Wow. I was going to say it definitely helped in my office, because as many people as I see on a daily basis, you know, you can imagine how many germs you come into contact, but that did help matters. That was great. Well, now I definitely with the massage oils and whatnot that you produce, the best way to find out how great those are is to come see you for a massage, right?
Exactly. Here in the next couple of weeks, we'll have booking online. We're working on the website to get that so people can book online. And or you can call me at the office, which is 423-559-7805. They can schedule a massage. We have skin care, waxing, or if you just want to come and experiment with the products or any of the essential oils for aromatherapy, I've got some of those that we can test and play with products as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. Cheryl, thank you so much for
thank
being
you.
here. Now, I want you to tell the folks
Howard.
where to find you online.
Okay.
And you might want to go through your phone number one more time for the audience so they'll know how to get in touch with you.
Okay. I am Serendipity CB. I am located on the north end of campus at the Innovation Center. And the suite number is 1050. When you pull into the lot, I'm the second door from the left. The website is www.serendipity-cb.com, and you can find all of the products either through the website or our Etsy store, which is Serendipity CB on Etsy if you're an Etsy fan. And if you have any questions, you can just call the shop. The number at the shop is 423-559-7805, and the same as Hollis. We're trying to get our Facebook growing, so like us on Facebook. That's Serendipity CB Massage and Skincare.
Sounds good. So there you have it. That's exactly how you can get hold. Now, we're going to take a quick break, and then I've got a very special treat for you. A gentleman coming back from another incubator tenant has something very special to show you. Let's come back.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
On the anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Cry Out America gathers Christian believers at county courthouses across the nation to cry out in prayer. Each of us has a reason.
I believe in the power of prayer.
I'm doing this for my kids.
I'm praying for my friends.
I can't do it alone.
Spiritually, man, this country is falling apart.
But I've seen God move before.
This September, we will unite once more with one purpose: to focus prayer on awakening every state, every county, and every heart for Jesus Christ.
We need to turn.
Turn.
Return.
I need to turn.
Humbly.
To God.
What is your reason?
Go to awakeningamerica.us to find a prayer gathering in your community.
Then join us
At noon on September the 11th.
In front of your county courthouse.
Together, we will cry out to the Lord.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Are you having trouble filing for disability?
Seems no one is concerned about your pain, the waiting, the denials.
While some representatives will meet with you in court, we will meet with you now to discuss your plan. We'll review with you the same file that the judges will see. Call us now. Social Security Law Center at Logan Thompson.
You're entitled to better.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back, everybody, and good Friday morning to you. I'm Hurley Buff, who I'm setting in for James Dunn and Stacy Dunn, who are taking a much-needed day off, a very much-needed day off, truth be told. I can't remember the last time they took any time off. But we have got a very special guest for you here. I'm sitting right beside Mr. Barry Cochran, who is with L.F. Deerdorf and Sons. Deerdorf cameras have a long and storied history, and just the story of how that Barry came into possession of Deerdorf camera, that's a story in and of itself. And he says he has some surprises for me too. But thank you for being here today, Barry. It's a pleasure to have you.
Always glad to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. This sitting between us is a Deerdorf camera. This is the 4x5, am I correct?
8x10.
An 8x10? Okay, great. Well, tell us a little bit about Deerdorf camera, the history, the legend, the saga.
Well, to most people, looking at a camera like this, they would describe it as an antique. Mm-hmm. And there's a certain truth in that, because the design really goes back to the days of the Civil War. In the early days, if you wanted an 8x10 print, you had to have an 8x10 negative because there were no enlargers. Mm-hmm. The very first national park in the United States, it was Yellowstone, and one of the things that swung the argument to Congress is to make Yellowstone the first national park, was that they had 20 by 24 inch photographs on display in the halls of Congress. That meant someone had to make 20 by 24 inch negatives. Uh-huh. And so there were contact prints, and a bit of history there. But Deerdorf cameras have been around since the early 20s. They were made in Chicago until the end of the 80s. And my wife and I were very fortunate, blessed, to have the opportunity to buy the company about 3 or 4 years ago. For the last 3 years plus a little bit, we've been tenants in the incubator with Hurley here. Mm-hmm. And have to put in a good plug for the incubator.
Well, this is kind of old home week on the show today, folks.
But. Well, it has really made a difference for us. Small business people starting a new company like Cheryl, like Hollis, we couldn't have done it without the incubator. So we really want to say hats off to the incubator.
Well, thank you very much for the kind plug.
Now, coming back to the Deerdorf, the thing that makes the Deerdorf unique is that it folds up. What you see here is a box that's about 12 inches square, about 5 inches thick. When it's opened up and in use on a tripod, this camera can be almost 3 feet long. If it didn't fold, you'd have to take the whole 3-foot box out into the field. Mm-hmm. So the fact that the Deerdorf folds up as compactly as it does is a real plus, a real drawing point to the Deerdorf camera.
And that's what they were really made for to begin with. I mean, these were made to go out in the field and catch mm-hmm. those beautiful, wildlife and scenery shots.
Well, Deerdorf was a diversified company. This size and this style camera was always their best seller. So you're right, a lot of people took them out in the field. But I know you want to talk about a couple of other cameras today.
Yes, I do.
And Deerdorf made portrait cameras that were used all over the world. People have seen photographs taken with Deerdorf cameras without perhaps realizing it. if you know the most famous photograph of Winston Churchill, when he has the scowl on his face.
Yeah, and
well, that was
cigar
taken.
hanging out
Well,
his mouth.
that's the point. No cigar.
Oh, really?
Because Joseph Karsh was a photographer in New York, and he had a sitting with Churchill, and he had taken several pictures, and he just hadn't quite gotten the one that he wanted, and he couldn't quite capture Churchill. He didn't think, until he had the camera set up, and he was ready to click the shutter, and he reached up and was daring enough to snatch the cigar out of his hand. And when he pulled the cigar out of his hand, he clicked the shutter, and that's why he got that scowl and that look on his face.
And I know the photograph you're talking about. Have you seen that one, Hollis?
I haven't.
I'll have to show that to you after the show. I mean, it definitely is a scowl. He looks like he's just had a cigar yanked out of his mouth.
But now, Deerdorfs were used for landscapes out in the field with the folding cameras. They were used for portraits like the one of Churchill. They were also used for commercial photography. Almost all the photographs in Sears, Roebuck, Montgomery Ward's, JCPenney catalogs for decades were taken in studios using large format cameras, and a lot of those were Deerdorf. We have in our bay a camera that was still in use 3 years ago, taking the pictures that were shown in your Target ad copy for the newspapers on the weekends when you see a sale and the Monopoly boards on sale. Every picture in those brochures was taken with a Deerdorf until just a few years ago.
Well, and I love the anecdote that you've told me before about how that in certain magazines, if you see an ad for a Nikon camera, the chances are pretty good it was taken with a Deerdorf or a camera like a Deerdorf camera.
That's right. You know, the world's changed and for the most part gone digital.
Yeah.
And my dad asks me often why it is that people would still buy a camera like this. And you hit on it, because film against digital is not a fair fight.
Yeah.
If you have a Nikon film camera, you take pictures with the newest, greatest, latest Nikon digital, if you're really objective and you compare the pictures are still sharper shot with film. It's not that we have become better by going digital. We've eliminated the cost of the film, the cost of the processing. It's instant. We can take 1,000 pictures and choose the best one that we like. But if your ultimate goal is to get the sharpest picture that you can, you still want that to be film, and you want it to be as large a piece of film as possible. So to some people that use a Hasselblad camera, a 2-inch square negative is huge. And then to other people, an 8x10 negative is their norm. And we're selling more and more what we call ultra-large format cameras that make negatives up to 12x20, 14x20, 16x20 pieces of film. And when you have a negative that's that big, there's just an incredible wealth of information there that you can capture. So you mentioned Nikon. If you were going to have a full-page ad for a Nikon camera and you want people to be able to see every dot in the leatherette and read every little pixel in their dials, you're going to shoot it with film, and very likely with big film.
Well, and those kind of film is still available today, although not as readily, I'm sure.
It's becoming harder. And that's an interesting thing, because, you know, in the early days, there wasn't film. People had to do wet plate photography on glass. Those 20x24 plates that I talked about with the pictures of Yellowstone were actually shot by a photographer named William Henry Jackson. Now, William Henry shot pictures, and when he went out, he had 7 mules with him to carry all the equipment, and a couple of those were to carry his darkroom tent that he would set up right beside where he was going to take the picture. He would go into the tent, scrub a piece of glass clean, coat it with a liquid, load it into a film holder, go out and take the exposure, knowing that he had to get back to the tent within about 20 minutes. And then right then, right there, he would have to process that glass plate, pack it well, and of course every picture you take, you have one more glass plate to have to worry about getting cracked or damaged until you get back into town. But there's a resurgence in interest in glass plate, because people still love these cameras. They want to use large format, but if film's hard to get, they think, okay, I'll make my own.
That's what
and so in a lot of colleges, they're doing wet plate photography again.
Well, Joe tells me we need to take a quick break, but I do want to come back and talk to you a little bit more about this camera. So we'll go ahead and just take a very short break, and then we'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
On the anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Cry Out America gathers Christian believers at county courthouses across the nation to cry out in prayer. Each of us has a reason.
I believe in the power of prayer.
I'm doing this for my kids.
I'm praying for my friends.
I can't do it alone.
Spiritually, man, this country is falling apart.
But I've seen God move before.
This September, we will unite once more with one purpose: to focus prayer on awakening every state, every county, and every heart for Jesus Christ.
We need to turn.
Return.
I need to turn.
Humbly.
To God.
What is your reason?
Go to awakeningamerica.us
To find a prayer gathering in your community.
Then join us
At noon on September the 11th.
in front of your county courthouse.
Together, we will cry out to the Lord.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back once again. We're still talking with Barry Cochran of LF Deerdorf and Son, a camera company right here in Cleveland. And we've got one very special camera that we want to talk about in the few minutes that we have remaining. And that is a camera that was used by a very famous photographer here in Tennessee in Nashville. Tell us a little bit about his story in that camera.
Well, the photographer that you're talking about was named William S. Fabry. He began his photography career in Chicago, where the Deerdorfs were made.
Mm-hmm.
And having a studio in Chicago, not surprisingly, he had a Deerdorf. And you all know Minnie Pearl from Grand Ole Opry fame and so forth.
Well, I thought we all knew
Howdy.
Minnie Pearl. Uh-huh.
Well, Minnie Pearl was in Peoria, outside Chicago, back in the 50s, and decided to sit for a portrait by the photographer Walden Fabry. And she's written a story I've got a copy of, but it was in the Country Music Journal many years ago. And she talks about going to Peoria and sitting for this portrait and not being too enthused about it. And then the portrait came back and she said, wow, this is amazing. And at least the urban legend is she went back to Chicago, and Minnie Pearl could be pretty persuasive, and she persuaded Walden Fabry to come to Nashville and move his studio, because she said she could guarantee that he would be able to photograph the majority of the country music world. And she was successful. He moved, and over decades, he photographed every star that you can name from country music. I've got a photograph here of Minnie Pearl and Hank Williams, the senior, you know, that was taken in his studio in Nashville. And here we have Hank Williams' band with Minnie Pearl here. And so there are a couple of pictures, just examples, but here's the small world part of this story. At just about the same time that Walden Fabry was using a Deerdorf larger than this, but still 8 by 10, in Nashville to take pictures of Hank Williams and all the country music stars, just down the street in Athens, Tennessee, if you went into the portrait studio downtown Athens, Tennessee, and had your portrait made there, it was the same type, the same size, the same brand camera. An identical camera to Fabry's was used in Athens, Tennessee to take portraits of people there. And so you can kind of expand from that. But Fabry died in '76. And his camera changed hands a few times, I suppose, and wound up in a storage building in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
Now, again, I mentioned that my wife and I are blessed to be a part of this whole process, because we don't deserve to be here. We're not the best business people, perhaps. We're still learning a lot of this as we go along. But it is so exciting to come to work. There was a day last year when we had a phone call from someone who said, I have a Deerdorf camera I've been using since the 40s, and I understand you guys are making new ones. I'd like to buy a new Deerdorf. That turned out to be Douglas Kirkland, who photographed the images of Marilyn Monroe that were in Look and Life magazine back in the 50s. So he bought a new camera from us last year. Well, in this case, we had an email out of the blue, and it just said simply, I have an 8 by 10 portrait Deerdorf camera. Does anybody want one? And that's how it began. So we traded some emails and phone calls, and inevitably we wound up buying that camera. And as we were in the process of buying it, we learned that it was Fabry's original camera that he had shot all these famous images of. So that piqued my curiosity. I went online to look and find out who Walden Fabry was. Didn't find a lot. But I did find a link to the Country Music Hall of Fame, and they had a story that said that they had just received a grant for $280,000, and a large part of that money was going to go to digitize, scan all these old photographs like this. So, long story made short, my wife and I talked it over. We said, you know what, they need to at least have the opportunity to get that camera back. So we called, and they were delighted. So last week, Tim Davis from the Country Music Hall of Fame came down, and we were very happy to donate that camera and lens to the museum. We're not sure what they're going to do with it yet. They want to have it on display, perhaps with those images.
Wow,
so
that is wonderful.
It's coming back to Nashville.
Wonderful. So you, as our audience, can go to Nashville and see an actual Deerdorf camera that was used to photograph country and western singers. You'll be able to see that at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Soon, we hope.
Soon, we hope. I want to thank you for being with us this Friday morning. I appreciate every one of you tuning in to join us, and hope that you've learned something today. If nothing else, maybe at least we've kept you awake this morning. And I'm Hurley Buff, Director of the Business Incubator. James will be back with you next time. James and Stacy, have a very pleasant Friday morning.